Hello, podcasters and YouTubers and all alike. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Welcome back to Lights, Camera, Action with Kaylee
and Chris.
All right, so today, you guys, I really want to talk about how you can get started modeling. I've recently gotten a lot of questions about how I got started. And while everyone's journey is different, I just want to let you guys know what I did to get started and what worked for me. So that way I can help you guys out and maybe help you figure out where you can start if modeling is something that you are interested in. So the first thing that I want to touch base on that really helped me get noticed is I already was taking a lot of self-portraits and posting them all over my social media. Now, the reason I think this helped me is that it very much set me apart from other girls because my pictures weren't just like selfies. They clearly had a lot of thought put into them. There were obviously artistic themes within the self-portraits. So once photographers actually started going and looking at my page, it already looked like I had some sort of modeling experience, or it looked like modeling was something that I was interested in. So the one thing that I obviously would totally recommend from this is go ahead and start taking some self-portraits. And someone asked me how I got started, and when I told them that, they were like, well, how do I take self-portraits? And honestly, it can be as simple as getting in front of a plain wall, setting up your camera, and just leaning up against the wall and doing some simple poses. Something that is just going to set the photos apart from just like normal everyday selfies. Like I said, that has some obvious thought put into it and artistic themes is really going to help set your photos apart and get you a little bit more traction onto your page and from professional photographers.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you felt like not a selfie or just a photo of you, but a creative expression of your style, of who you are,
yes.
is what sets you apart. I mean, and that's a great point because as a business owner, as owner of, SDS Modeling Co., when somebody applies, I always ask, there's a link in our application form for their Instagram handle. I always go look and kind of explore the kind of person who applied. And so doing a self-portrait is a great way to very quickly express who you are as a model, or maybe who you want to be as a model, but also as a person, right? So your self-portraits are going to express your style. They're going to express your creativity, your thought process. So it's a really great way for any sort of business or photographer or brand or whoever may be reaching out to really get a quick glimpse of who you are very quickly if you don't have a professional portfolio built up.
Yeah, that's a great point. I definitely think that going ahead and taking self-portraits is a great way to go ahead and start building your portfolio when you don't already have those professional pictures to add to your portfolio. So the next thing that I want to touch on is how I actually got photographers to reach out to me and wanting to work with me. So one of the most important things you can do in any sort of business setting or professional world setting is to network. And the best way that I found to do that is to follow people within the modeling industry. So big names, obviously, like Kendall Jenner, or any of the super big top models or big modeling agencies and fashion industries and fashion designers, but also was to follow photographers in my area and follow other models in my area. And you always want to make sure, especially for those local people and those local creatives, be interactive on their content, like their posts, comment on their posts. Because 9 times out of 10, if they are, trying to get into this for business, they're going to go and look at the pages who are consistently reacting to their posts. And if you already have those self-portraits posted on your page, once they go and look at your page and like, wow, who's this person that's, been supporting me, commenting on my posts? It really seems to like my content. they're going to go to your page and be like, wow, they look like they're interested in modeling. And you know what? They look like they might be a good model for me to work with. I'm going to send them a message. And that is exactly what happened to me. I had a local photographer reach out wanting to work with me. He was just like, hey, maybe would you be interested in doing a shoot sometime? And I was like, of course. So honestly, you guys, I was pretty lucky in that it seemed like a very like a simple road to get these people to notice me because I took the right steps. And just a quick tip, here's a term that I think all of you should know, and that is TFP. It stands for time for print. And basically, that is when a model and a photographer, you guys are just helping each other's portfolios. And that is what you want when you're just starting out. And you want to get as much work done as possible to help build your portfolio and to help sell yourself a little bit better from the beginning when you don't have a whole lot of photos in your portfolio built up.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is engagement, which I think is an important note, not just for modeling, but for any sort of business brand. If you're a photographer, you're trying to reach out to other models. Engagement on social media is always going to be a great way to create new relationships. So no matter what business you're in, but especially modeling, fashion, beauty, design, it's all about the connections, who you know, what kind of relationships you develop. And so when you're engaging with other photographers or other models, and you're leaving comments and you're sending them messages, always try to provide some sort of genuine feedback or some real content, like engagement on their post. Don't just say like, oh, nice post, or a beautiful photo, or I like your hair. Really try to like engage and just be like, I really enjoyed how you used the light to create this specific kind of effect. It reminds me of X, Y, and Z. Provide a valuable comment. 6 or more character or words is what I always say. And that's really, you're going to help. You're going to see that people are going to go to your page, follow you, just because they feel like you like, their content. They want you to see it. So engagement is always, you have to, one rule to remember is it's always kind of selfish. You're doing it for you, but they also want you to comment and like their stuff for them. So however you can provide value for them is what's going to get you on that one-up in engagement, which I think is a really good point to something that I was thinking about, which is like being outgoing. You have to be proactive, and you have to be outgoing. You can't be shy and make it in modeling. Again, it's all about what Kaylee was saying, which is being proactive, stepping up to the plate, reaching out to other people and making friends, using social media for its purpose, to connect and to relate. So that's a great point. Engagement is definitely an awesome tool.
And just to give you guys an example of how I would do this and how it worked out for me, one of the photographers who I work with all the time, I love working with him. We make amazing stuff together. He takes photos of a lot of really sick locations, some super cool abandoned stuff. And he posted a photo of this gorgeous abandoned fireplace. And it was the most just gorgeous setting I've ever seen. And I left him a comment and I was like, I love locations like this. This is so beautiful. And he replied to my comment and said, well, maybe we should do a shoot in a location like this. So that's just to show that when you're engaging with people's photos, and they enjoy that engagement that you're giving them, they will most likely want to work with you if you, once again, already have your Instagram set up to obviously portray that that's something that you're interested in.
Which that brings up a really good point too, if I can interject again, is, you mentioned following large accounts like, the Kendalls and the Kylies and the Miranda Kerrs and all of those, those large names that but it's super important to just connect with people locally too. And you can do that a couple ways by doing just hashtags. Like in West Virginia, you could always do hashtag WV models, and it will pull up everybody who's local. Every photographer who's used that hashtag, and every model who's used it. So it's not like it's hard to find people to engage with. You could also go to
Yeah.
your locations, just type in your location and scroll through and see who around you is
Mm-hmm.
posting content similar to you. But if I can just kind of point out an example, just before we started this podcast, I commented on an account of a model. She has like 13 or 14,000 followers, which if you know enough about Instagram, that's enough to get the blue check mark. And I made one comment. It was about, I think, like 14 or 15 words, just providing valuable content. As we're talking here, I'm seeing feedback where I'm getting, I think I got 6 comments on one post, and 3 new followers from just one engagement. And so if you multiply that, now everybody you engage with won't engage back. I've commented on other photographers' work and other models' work where they just either say K, or they don't like my comment, or they don't send any response back. Not everybody is in it for the engagement, but most people will, find value in that engagement.
Yeah. I love that you brought up the point of looking through the hashtags, because that actually brings up another step that I took in finding photographers. So when I tell people, oh, you just need to you need to find other photographers and models in your area. And someone asked me, well, how do I do that? And one of the things that I definitely did do is I looked under the hashtag West Virginia photographer, WV photographer, photographers, West Virginia model. And I made sure to follow them, interact on their posts. I would definitely follow other models in my area just to help support, but to also open a door to some photographers that I was missing. And I was thinking about it the other day. We all know someone in our local community that's gotten like wedding photos done or graduation pictures. And that right there is another door to photographers that you could potentially work with.
Well, and if I can share another like kind of personable story, whenever I first started working with you, I actually found you because I was working with Kate, who was another model I was working with at the time, right? And then I saw, made the connection with you. I made the connection originally for makeup. You came on set and you helped do Savannah's makeup. You helped with Kate's makeup. I think you helped with a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then eventually I was able to talk you into doing a shoot with me. And then eventually I talked you into doing another shoot. And then I talked you into now helping me with this podcast. So the importance of engagement is developing it. Don't approach it in the sense of like I'm commenting on them so I can get the follow or get a project, but always look at it as how can this person help me in a long-term relationship? How can I help them? It's all about the long-term game. See, if I just worked with you for one shoot, we wouldn't be having this podcast.
Yeah,
so that's the empower of engagement.
Oh yeah, so true. And it builds a community, because once you start working with these people, obviously they're going to want to support you, and it makes you want to support them even more. So just a simple like and a comment and a follow, you can really build a great relationship with somebody.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, for example, we're about to do a publication strictly all about you, right? And some shoots you did, but we're also going to feature not just our work together, but also work you've done with other photographers, right? But that's all because of the networking and the engagement, and because we're all trying to build a community. And so I like that. We're all about the community, so I like that.
Yeah. So the last point that I want to touch on in how you can get started is to work, do as many shoots as you can. The best thing that you can do, especially at the beginning, is to just pump out content, you guys. The way that I did that is my planner is my best friend. I love my planner. I love planning things out in my planner and writing things down and like getting things planned out. It's something that I just love doing. So I was lucky enough. I'm a full-time college student, and I have a part-time job when coronavirus isn't a factor. But I'm lucky enough that I had a consistent schedule every week. Every week I had the same days off. So I would plan shoots like at least a month in advance. I would go through that whole month. Because I was lucky enough to have a consistent schedule, I would know exactly what days I would have off. and I would write them down, screenshot it as a note in my phone, and I would post it all over my social media. I would send it to the photographers that I've already worked with, because in doing that, they can just pick a day. And there's no trying to figure out dates, and that way it's like the beginning of the month and you already have a whole month's worth of shoots planned out where you're going to have loads of content coming in. So the best thing that I could recommend is to just pump out content as much as you can, because also the more content you post, the more the algorithms are going to work in your favor. And when the algorithms work in your favor, you get exposed to more photographers in your area and more people that you could potentially work with.
Yeah, that's a great point. Work, 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 work. Pump out as much content as you can. It goes back to the original beginning, which is like, people want to see your content. But it does bring an important note to my mind that I do want to touch on, which is also, just because you have to put out a lot of content doesn't mean you need to be suckered into doing content you don't want to do either.
Yes.
Which means, like, don't let people take advantage of you. Where compensation should be necessary, they should still compensate you, especially when you're talking travel, when you're talking food, things of that nature. TFP is always a great way to start, which is, as Kaylee said, time for print. But also, like, don't dig yourself in a hole. And if you need help on learning how to, like, build a pricing guide or like a comp card or any of those things, we can help you with that. But one really important thing I do, don't shoot content that you don't want to do. So, like, if you get stuck working with a specific niche, because what will happen is one photographer will reach out to you. Well, acquaintance of his will reach out. An acquaintance of his or hers will reach out, but they often stay in the same niche. So be careful to not lock yourself into a specific niche, especially if it's not content you want to produce, because you'll get stuck doing that content.
Yeah.
So it's really good to practice a wide range of styles and work with a wide range of photographers so you get the experience of all the different kinds of shoots, but still only shoot stuff that you want to do and you feel comfortable doing.
Yeah, I love that you pointed that out, because I feel like people look their best when they're confident and when they enjoy what they're doing. When it's a shoot that you are genuinely invested in and you genuinely like the concept and what's going on, your photos are going to show that. You're gonna be able to see on your face that you're just having the time of your life, that you're loving what you're doing, and it's gonna cause for a better photo.
I'm glad you said that, because I was actually going to bring it up if you didn't. Being confident. If you want to start modeling, build your self-confidence, right? Because how you feel about yourself will always reflect in a photo, no matter how much the photographer edits it. And so I just think today I made a post on the Instagram about ways you can build your confidence, and they all involve the things that we just talked about. So preparing and planning. If you know ahead of time what kind of shoot you're getting into, what to expect, you're going to be more confident. Having fun with it. If you're having fun, you're thinking of it less of work and more of like an enjoyment, right? And if you're happy, you're going to be confident about it. And another really important thing about starting off modeling, but also, like, in the same line of like building your confidence, is do not compare yourself to other models.
You can't.
From day one, do not say you can aspire to be like someone. You can aspire and you can have great inspirations. I have a lot of people I look up to who, I'll never be able to achieve their level of greatness, but that's why we look up to them. But you don't compare yourself to them, right? We're all unique in our own ways, and we're all great, and we've got to own that. And that's going to be very important to you starting off, right? So if you have a specific look or a specific style, go into it with realistic expectations and know that, and be confident about it and own it, and it will help you grow so much further. If you try to be something you're not, eventually you're going to get burnt out. The photographer is going to burnt out, and people are going to know, like, this is false. This is false. It's not real. And it'll fail. So at the end of the day, it's just best to be you. We are our own best investments. So it's worth it to invest in yourself. And so that's always, the best way to always do that is by being true to you and doing what you enjoy to do.
Exactly.
All right. So that's all the points that Kaylee had for, how to start off. A lot of great conversation, a lot of great talking points. But to recap, engagement, super important. Be proactive, work. You know, be confident in yourself. Stay on top of it. But and market yourself for not only what you want to do, but who you want to be. So those are great points. But I do want to mention, and it's important to know, we mentioned at the end of every podcast, it's go follow us on all the social medias. This will be on podcasts. It's going to be on Stitcher. It's on Spotify. It's going to be on YouTube, IGTV, Instagram. So this is going to be everywhere. But it's important for you to not just watch the photo or watch the video and just leave it. It's important for you to like it and comment it. One, so that it will show up in your feed in the future. If you really like the content that you're seeing, it's important to like it and comment, because Instagram or YouTube will go, oh, they really like this, and they'll show it to you first, which is another important thing about engagement that we were talking about earlier. That's another reason why you engage, is so that's the content that Instagram shows you. So it's important to go like us. You can follow me in the modeling company and the podcast at SDS Modeling Co. You can visit us at our website, sdsmodelingco.com. You can follow Kaylee at Kerosene K. Will you spell it out?
KEROSINE_KAY.
All right. So just as it sounds, not the letter K, but the word K.
Yes.
So it's important. Go follow her, like her content. It will help you see it when she posts it. That's the biggest reason. Is we want you to see this content when it comes out, but you can only do it. It'll only pop up for you if you like it and you engage with it. Feel free to, like, if you're nervous about engaging, with strangers or with people in public, you can always practice on our posts. You can always send us a DM and let us know, like, hey, this is, practice, just let us know, like, hey, we want to practice. Can we practice with you? And we'd be happy to let you do that. Or you can just comment on our post at random and comment. Neither one of us are going to be mean or disrespectful. We just appreciate your view. So, and then the third point, so engage, comment, like, but also share. Share this with your friends, with other models, so they can see it and be introduced and learn and grow with the rest of us.
Okay. And if you guys want to see more of the content that me and Chris have produced, you can always check out the publication Breaking Borders. It features all of the SDS models in some of our favorite locations. You get to learn a little bit more about us. And I mean, I'm on the back cover. So, like, why wouldn't you guys want to check it out?
And it's important to know that, yes, it's exciting to get to see, all of the, the models featured. Within this publication specifically, we have Kate, who's an SDS model. We have Kaylee. We have Sheridan, who's another SDS model. Layla, who's another SDS model. She's on a short maternity leave, so she'll be back in the action soon enough. There's Brittany and also Savannah. So there's good content in here you don't want to miss out. But it's important to also get you a copy, because every purchase, a part of every single purchase, goes to support the featured models within the publication. So you can easily get access to this by going to the Instagram, SDS Modeling Co. There's a link in the bio, or you can just go to the website and click on publications. There's a tab that says publications. You'll see it there, and there will be, within like the next month or so, there's going to be like 10 more. So there's going to be a lot more on there. We've got a lot of stuff coming out, so you want to stay up to date. All right, so that's good.